Mitchell. Sabali to beat. Watch for the pull-up. There it is. And she buries the three. So the Indiana Fever will go over 500. 17-16, extend their win streak to 4. This was one of the most entertaining games I think we've seen.
Great team win. 17-16, winning record, first time since 2016.
If you don't think Caitlin Clark can win a championship as a rookie, simply a hater. Those are Clark's own words, and they're echoing through every WNBA locker room. Let's break down why this statement is causing such a stir. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you kill eye? It's nearly forgotten those times when rookies had to sit on the bench to gain experience. Clark happened to miss that communication. She's not just playing, she's making the game different for inexperienced players. To the past, to not too distant a past. Despite her potential, Caitlin Clark was largely unknown outside of the Women's National Basketball Association, WNBA, as a rookie. Her decision to sign with the Indiana Fever surprised some people while satisfying others. Although she possessed potential, would she be able to succeed in the most competitive women's basketball league globally? Those were not the only bright spots during the early years of the Fever. Like any rookie, Clark had the same challenges, getting used to the greater level of competition, the increased roughness of the game, and the intense pressure to perform well. Even so, Clark appeared strangely changed. She did not only survive, she thrived. As the season progressed, Clark's talent became increasingly apparent. She frequently demonstrated flashes of brilliance that both specialists and onlookers found impressive. Under extreme circumstances, her court vision, game reading, and clutch performances all began to come together for her.
Clark from way downtown parries it.
Well, the last time she was here, she had 19 assists, which broke a WNBA record. Now, this is a lefty using that left hand, and yeah, that's going to be a highlight reel. Which right now the Wings are dominating in free throws.
Clark knocks down her second three of the ball game.
If you have shooters on the weak side.
Oh, great play, and it ends up in Caitlin Clark getting her 19th point.
But this is where the really interesting part starts. Clark has not only been excellent in a few games this season, but all throughout it, she has been so exceptional that in just her first season, she has scored over 594 points. That is really amazing. It's very good. Coaches reevaluate their tactics, and WNBA veterans get uneasy when they see statistics like this. But it's not just about the numbers here. Clark's rise is altering the way we see rookie potential in the WNBA. She's showing that first-year players can take the initiative. Rather than waiting for her opportunity, she's diving straight in and changing things. Clark's improvement has had an even more noteworthy effect on her squad. The Indiana Fever as a whole are beginning to go beyond the sum of their parts and become something greater than Clark's team. Her ability to elevate her colleagues' performance is a true sign of star power, and we can now talk about confidence. Along with her skill set, Clark and her team's confidence has grown. She's no longer just happy to be there. She wants to succeed. To put it another way, she believes that the team is now more competitive than it was a month ago. That's the confidence of a player who thinks her team can compete on a global scale, not the naivete of a rookie. How hard was Clark staring at you? It is now a blazing blaze against the Dallas Wings. How in the world did the game go so wrong to have the whole WNBA nervous? You're about to find out why this clash was more than just a normal game. Imagine this. Final score, Dallas Wings versus Indiana Fever. The air is heavy with anxiety. Everyone is curious about whether Clark can continue her winning streak in the face of such a strong opponent. Spoiler alert, she didn't just keep it up, she turned it up to 11. Clark put on a show that had the crowd in stitches and scored 28 points. But it wasn't the score that mattered most. That's how she got them, and she made everything she possessed matter. She was the controller of the game, not just a player. But wait a minute. Clark's teammate Kelly Mitchell wanted to get in on the action while she was getting lit up. Mitchell's game-high 33 points proved that when Clark is playing at his best, the entire team becomes even more explosive. The rest of the Fever contracted a serious case of terrific, as though Clark's talent were contagious. The furious back-and-forth action kept fans on the edge of their seats the whole game. Every time they believed they had an answer, Clark and the Fever would ask Dallas a series of pointed questions. The Fever's comeback in the fourth quarter to win the game was a basketball masterclass. Sure, Clark scored big, but what's the big deal? Is perhaps what's on your mind? Well, that's not all there is to it. The highlight is Clark's actions that change the game. She's not just making baskets, she's making a positive impact on others around her. Take Clark at his word for it. After the game, she made some information public that shows off her basketball intelligence. She said that when you have two guards and both making plays, it puts the other team in a tough position of who to put on who. That is just amazing. Wow, that kind of strategic thinking should be possible for someone with years of experience in the industry. This was more than just a win for the Fever. It served as a glimpse of things to come for the WNBA. Clark is proving that she is not attempting to fit in by sticking out. Furthermore, she is bringing her whole team along. Think about it. Clark is not only playing brilliantly, but she is also pressuring her rivals to change their tactics. Defenses are unable to focus on a single player when she is on the field. They have to deal with Clark, Mitchell, and anybody else Clark decides to bring up that night. This was more than just a good showing for Clark's stats versus the Wings. The other teams in the league noticed. It's stating that we are no longer the underdogs. We want to be successful and competitive. Even though Clark has undeniable talent, it is insufficient to win titles. What's going on in Indiana to help the Fever get better? From total outsiders to title contenders, you might be surprised by the response. The whole WNBA is on edge as a strange drug is being created in Indiana. Clark's influence extends beyond her exceptional abilities to the entire team. The key component in the Fever's unique formula is their recently discovered link. For now, let's talk about figures. For the first time since 2016, the Fever have already won a game in August. That's not just a coincidence, it's a hint of a larger trend. This group is improving individually, but they are also coming together as a cohesive team. What's new then? Yes, Clark is very much involved. She's not only impacting her personal stats, but also the way the team plays as a whole. Clark, according to her, is playing a little more free and being more aggressive. That sounds like more than simply stuttering. It's the sound of a player finding her voice and making sure everyone else does too. But this is when things start to get interesting. Clark enhances the performance of everyone around her as well as herself when she is on the field. She and her colleague Kelsey Mitchell have found that when both of them are making plays, the other team is compelled to put in greater effort. Not just one player, but the entire Fever team is what they should be worried about. Furthermore, one should not ignore the bench. Clark is eager to point out that they have people who can jump in and make a big difference. Depth is essential for winning a championship, and the Fever have plenty of it. This is more than just good basketball on show. This team is at last accepting its own abilities. Clark's contagious confidence is making an impression on every member of the team. They are expecting victory now rather than just hoping for it. There are other things that gain from the Fever's newly discovered chemistry than their record. As a result, other clubs are beginning to perceive them differently. They are no longer viewed as the underdogs. Everybody in the WNBA knows how strong they are. Think about it, the Fever weren't even viewed as serious contenders until a few months ago. Now, nobody wants to play against them as they are the team. That is the power of a cohesive team, and Clark is the first to realize this. But take note, this isn't just for one season. Over time, the WNBA might change as a result of the work that Clark and the Fever are undertaking. Their accomplishments demonstrate what can be accomplished when a group of people collaborate under capable leadership.